Oracles of Olympus. Welcome to Oracles of Olympus, a weekly talk show about tabletop games, comics, movies, and all kinds of nerd rants and raves and tangents. Now, join Kyle, CJ, and GM Drew as they give their take on all things nerdy. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
We're on video now.
Yeah, this time in video. Now you can see these soft, shitty bodies that go with our voices.
Yes. And it's even more confusing because to all of my future listeners listening to me speaking to you from the past, I'm now looking at myself on a camera delayed, which just adds another level of time complexity.
Just don't look over here.
I know, it's kind of mind-breaking.
Don't watch the separate screen.
Right.
It's like basically it's
Just
like
look at
looking
each
into
other.
a gorgon's eyes. It just turns you into stone. You're like,
Uh-oh. So,
it's bad shit.
Oracles of Olympus, it took a break for a little bit.
We did.
We're back.
We
Yeah.
did. But now
We've missed you.
We did miss you, we missed doing it, and by popular demand, we've returned to our adoring fans.
And now we're all going to do it together.
do what?
Shout out to all our
Lots of
fans
stuff.
that wanted us back.
Yeah, thanks for hassling us.
Yeah.
We appreciate
That's
it.
what it
It's good
takes.
motivation.
That's what it is.
Yeah. So
But
now
we
in
just
fireside
need to figure out how
chat
to
format.
do smell-o-vision.
If we had smell-o-vision, you guys could smell how awesome this is. Oh, it's so delicious.
You'd get to see how, like, Kyle basically just smells like Irish beer and pizza at all times.
Irish beer and pizza.
It was meant to be a compliment, but it didn't sound as good when I
It
said it.
doesn't sound as attractive.
It doesn't
when you
sound as
say it.
attractive as I thought. I'm like, that's kind of
You
a...
smell like stouts.
Smells
and
like
pizza.
Chicago.
Yeah, it smells like Chicago, which doesn't smell like blood, sweat, murder, and grime.
I've heard so much about this pizza place that's in...
It's called Giordano's.
I sent him a picture.
Giordano's.
I walked by it today.
There's one in Denver, right?
There is one in
They
Denver.
just opened
yeah.
one in Denver.
So because they did like a study and they shipped more. So Giordano's ships pizzas because
Right.
Chicago's that good. They shipped more pizzas to the Denver area code than the rest of the country combined, because as it turns out, there's a shit ton of misplaced Midwesterners in Denver. Like if you go to an Avalanche hockey game, there are more Hawks fans there when it's a Hawks game.
For anybody who wants to visit, it's right on 16th Street Mall, 16th and Champa.
So, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
It looks nice, too. I walked by and I was like, I want some of that pizza.
Well, I've heard so much about it. But
Well, you should take a trip down there
Yeah. Oh, it's so worth
and
it.
have
Yeah.
the pizza.
This is kind of the video format's kind of weird because now we're all like normally we're not all like sitting next to each other and then I have to like look back and forth
Yeah.
between you. It's a little bit different. I'm also
more
trying to like remember like
conversational.
what was the format of this, but I guess there wasn't really a format. It was just us kind of fucking around.
there was like, I don't know, like 20 minutes of fucking around, and then I'd wrangle it in.
You did
a
try to
little bit.
wrangle it.
Yeah, we had like a loose like notes of what
Yeah.
we were going to talk about,
And I have
we're
it
just
in-
kinda
I have it up
freeballing. We're freeballing it right now.
Yeah, we're
guys.
definitely, this is freestyle, baby.
So let's start. We usually started with
Kind of news in the community.
yeah, some 40K stuff, or
That's like ticker
more like
tape.
GW. Right?
GW News. We're going to start with GW News.
Yes.
Oh, friends, there's so much.
They do a lot
There's
these days.
always a much.
There's a lot, yeah. So, as of the time of this recording, yesterday, which would be Saturday, all the new Christmas Battle Forces came out, which is pretty sweet. I think probably the most popular one so far is the Imperial Fists one. It's pretty cool. It's got the new Power Fist for Primaris Marines, which is neat because it's not normally something they can take. So that sort of is either kind of a sly little wink towards what's happening in Chapter Approved next week. Like maybe they'll get that option, or maybe there's a new codex coming. We don't know.
I think regular Marines will eventually go away. I don't think they'll ever see a new kid.
I don't think they'll go away. Like they're not going to be like now they're not in the codex. I just don't think that they will continue to produce kits
No,
for them.
I mean, here's the thing. If you think about it, to me it makes sense that one day the Horus Heresy, they could do it in 8th, they could make it a GW game, make it like a specialist,
Yeah.
and you shift your basic Marines over to that.
I was looking at the Horus Heresy stuff today on Forge World's website, And it's so fucking depressing, like
So
how
much
little
less
shit
than there
there
used
is
to be
left
in
there.
the
Like
heydays.
basically, Heresy's dead, which
Yeah.
is really sad. But yeah, it is what it is.
Curtis,
There's so
we
many
know
other
you have a
games.
community that
right?
loves it.
There's like Curtis and like 10 other like sweaty English dudes playing it.
Yeah.
That's it. Like
And Jake.
and Jake. Yeah,
now,
Jake's with him
now a sweaty little American
Now,
guy.
yeah, right. 2 sweaty Americans and their 10 sweaty British friends.
Yeah.
Fucking nerds. We love you guys.
But then we have the new Vigilus campaign book. coming.
Yeah. So this weekend, we've got Chapter Approved, which is obviously big, right? That's probably the biggest thing coming out, and it's
What is that?
all. So Chapter Approved is the yearly rules update to 40K, so they adjust points for
Basically,
things that
hey,
need
we
to
don't
be
want our game
changed.
to be broken.
Yeah, right. Like so, like this thing is too good or too, we're gonna reduce its points, or it's really crappy. We're gonna
You get like different
patch.
beta rules. It's a patch.
It's a patch, yeah.
Exactly, it's a patch.
Right.
And
And
point
they have-
adjustments.
They've got like some other little funsy shit in there and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like there's a beta, Sisters of Battle Codex, which is shaping
Yes.
up to be pretty gross.
They love to put all these work into these open play rules that nobody plays, which also
There's
baffles
totally
me.
like 15 dudes out there in a
I
basement
know that
somewhere
are
that
super
are
pumped
just
about
eating this shit
vehicle
up.
design
Like,
rules.
oh my god, I
and,
can
like,
make all my own things. Like,
Yeah,
it's I don't know. It's
I don't
fucking
get
weird.
it, but the second they tell me something's only for open play, I'm just like, oh,
I immediately
might as
yeah,
well. I just
immediately
discounted
yeah.
existing.
I'm like I don't play every single game of 40K competitively. I don't really play much
But I always
40K
play points,
competitively,
yeah.
but I play with points. Yeah, I'm not a fucking savage.
Sure.
Like Jesus, we're not.
I'm never
Visigoths,
just like I'm gonna
right?
pull out what's in my case and play against
Yeah, that's
you.
weird. No,
It is weird.
It's
It's uncomfortable.
No. Yeah, I don't like it.
Makes
do
me
not,
feel
do not
strange
want.
about myself.
Would not recommend.
Yeah.
I prefer match play just because it's easy to play. The big deal, like I said, probably chapter proof, right? But the more interesting thing, I think, at least for you and me, because we are a little more casual. We're fucking casual guys now.
We are. When did that happen?
Yeah, we got old,
Welcome
dude.
to it.
Yeah, right. We're like, I used to play competitively. The cool thing coming out is the Vigilus campaign book.
Yes.
That is going to be, I think, really, really epic. Couple reasons. One, Vigilus is sort of the next story for the ongoing story in Warhammer 40K, which is they sort of started it this past, I don't know what, in the spring when the Armored Warglaives came out in Forgebane.
Yes.
I think that was the start of the Vigilus story, and it's kind of carried on through some box sets. And I'll be honest, I have Forgebane, I read the stuff in there, it was cool. I haven't read any of the stories since then because I haven't bought the other 3 boxes that have come out since then. I am really pumped, however, because I've been reading the stuff that's on Warhammer Community, and I'm checking it out, and I really like it. I love campaigns. I am a sloppy mess for campaigns.
I've noticed you have a special love for campaigns.
I do. I really do. And they always like eventually within a week or two break down and then like.
That's the problem is we start them and we never really finish
I know.
them.
Our Lord of the
and
Rings
it's-
campaign is super floundering right now.
Yeah.
It's just like kind of dirtling and not doing anything.
Well, our AOS campaign did that. and
Most campaigns do.
campaigns
And I think part of the problem with that is inevitably when you play a campaign, you want to play with all your friends.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to exclude people because it's not fun to exclude people, right? Unless they're French Canadian.
Yeah.
I should caveat: it's not fun to exclude people unless the people that are excluding are French Canadian. So the problem tends to be that you end up playing a campaign with like 10 people,
Yeah.
and there's literally nowhere in the world where 10 adults who are not A, all priests, B, in a cult, or C, all in the same flesh dungeon. There's no world where 10 adults who are not in those circumstances can actually line their schedules up once a week. It doesn't fucking happen.
Right.
No.
Like, it's impossible.
Yeah.
Like,
And inevitably you have someone that can't make it or 2 people and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, we'll postpone it this week. And then it just dies.
Yeah, right.
It's
like
gone.
you kick it down the can, you kick it down the week, or kick it.
You
kick the can
basically
down the
just
road.
need to be a brutal tyrant and just be like, if you don't make it,
Yeah,
then it-
right. Like you lose. You lose
Yeah.
the campaign.
Yeah.
So like I tried to kind of curtail that, I guess, with our Lord of
Mm-hmm.
the Rings campaign by limiting it, and like we're at 6, and it's still too many probably.
It is.
Like we can't line up 6 people's schedules. I think the sweet spot for campaigns is 4. Find 3 friends, play games with them.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned with campaigns. Will we be running a big campaign in the store? Fuck yeah, we will.
Yeah.
We're totally going to run a big campaign that everyone's
That
going to get
should
to
last
play
for
in.
about 2 weeks.
Yeah, right. Right. I have an idea. I have a plan for this one in my head where we are going to make a campaign that's a little bit more casual.
Okay.
So people can kind of drop in, drop out, and like we're going to have kind of my thought. This is my thought process on this. We're going to have 4 stars of the campaign, 4 like generals of the different groups or sectors or whatever. And those people will be the ones who have to have a committed schedule who kind of advance
Do
the
the
story.
campaign movies.
And all the
Movies,
other
moves.
yeah, they're going to be the guys in the movies.
Yes.
all the other games will still affect the campaign, but if they don't happen, they won't slow the campaign down.
Sure.
Right? Like, it'll be like 4 people who I can wrangle and force to do stuff.
I graciously accept leading some of their forces. So,
Sure.
Yes.
We'll let you play with something. You can do one of the force commanders.
I was a Grand Marshal at heart. I always was doing that.
I've always been...
Or Lord Commander Militant, whatever you prefer.
I've always been... my original job title was just Will of the Emperor.
Yeah.
So I've always been about that.
Don't
We do like
Bringer of
4...
Light.
Bringer of Light, Lord Commander of the North. I got a lot of job titles.
Yeah.
Bringer of Light's a good one.
It is.
Because I had to install lights in Griffin at one point, because somebody couldn't figure out how to fucking install like an emergency light or something. I was like, okay, I had to drive like 45 minutes down there to do it for them. It was really weird. It was a weird day. Yeah. Stories for another time.
You're saying our
We'll do like
society isn't collapsing?
Yeah, our society's totally collapsing. There are people who dress up as animals to fuck each other. Our society is way beyond the beginning of a collapse. It's like it's halfway into it.
Yeah, we're entering like 4th century Rome.
No offense to all of our furry listeners who we definitely don't have. We'll do like our 4 main movie stars. They'll be the guys and gals who kind of push the campaign forward, and then everyone else can join in and affect the campaign and be a part of it, but not have to be like super committed to it. That's my plan for like how does a campaign work and how do you play it, but still let everyone else jump
I have
in.
a great segue from that.
Deal.
So
Rock.
speaking of campaigns, we've been talking about this for a while about having a store kind of central D&D campaign setting.
Okay.
So that is being worked on.
Is it in Barovia?
It's not set in Barovia, interestingly enough.
Okay.
My co-writer and I are still kicking around a couple names for it.
Okay.
So I don't.
GM Drew has a fucking co-writing team now.
I do.
It's fantastic.
So it's going to be a lot of fun. We have a lot of ideas for this. So the way it's going to work is I'm going to actually run a game on Wednesdays of D&D.
Okay.
I'll start with the 6 to 8 slot, and for those that want to participate, info to come. So
it's going to be kind of Eyes Wide Shut style, guys. So get your robes and masks ready. Remember, you need the password to the room and the password to the house.
Yep. We'll email them out to our super secret club.
Super secret Eyes Wide Shut party members.
So some of the ideas we are kicking around for that is the store just got themselves a laser
That's
cutter.
weird. You referred to us in the third person.
I know.
We got a laser engraver for the store, guys.
Yeah, we did. And so
what's GM Drew going to do with that laser cutter?
The idea is that we're going to have tokens that you're going to be able to purchase.
Can we all say what we're going to do with the laser cutter? You go first.
I will first. It's my story.
Yeah, I'll go last.
So we're going to make little tokens that you'll be able to purchase and use within the store's campaign setting.
Okay.
Stuff like rerolls and items.
Yeah, like a pet.
Health potions, stuff like that.
Right, that you can... you can use in our own little world that we're building.
So you can kind of do something. So the other cool thing you want to talk about, like the other cool thing to this world that we're building, it's not just a single D&D game.
Sure, go ahead. I'm not sure what you're alluding to.
So I think the long-term plan is more what I'm alluding to.
Okay. I haven't heard of this at all, so this is news to me.
Oh, okay. So the long-term plan for this, guys, is we're crafting a sort of an interwoven, interlinked story between all of our D&D campaigns that happen in the store. That's our goal.
Right.
We want to have sort of an all points or, a home base sort of an area that every campaign is tied back to, right? Like it'll be an interplanar city or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you want to take this or if you want me to do it, but I can do it.
Well, yeah, I mean,
This is more
we have
your
all
baby.
kinds of different games going on in the store. To give it a little history is Wednesdays were traditionally the Adventure League time, and that's D&D's
Organized
play, right? And traditionally they called it expeditions, and it was like, okay, here's the adventure of the week, and here's 2 hours, and go play.
Mm-hmm.
We found that more people liked the experience of the books, right?
Right.
So that means a more committed group, more in-depth role play.
Yeah. Our gamers longer campaigns and more connectivity is what we've
Yeah.
experienced in the past 6 years.
Than just kind of a sit down, smash, 2 hours,
Yeah,
go home.
I think people want more than just like one-offs. I think
Yeah,
it's kind of
and
the catch.
so we have all kinds of stuff going on in the store. We have some of the printed books
Okay.
played. We have one of our DMs writes all his own stuff, his
pretty
own world.
impressive.
Who does that?
Actually, two, both John
Uh-huh.
and Brad.
Wow.
So this campaign setting that I'm writing with my co-writer Bill. There you go, Bill.
Shout out to Bill.
Who's definitely
I
a
do
real
like-
person.
He's totally real. We've met Bill. He's a nice guy. He lives in Laramie.
Yep. So the idea is that this place will have portals to those other gaming worlds, so they can all be linked up.
I like that.
Everybody can have a shared experience.
I have a suggestion, though.
Okay.
I think the
if
Guardians-
there's a Western watch
Oh,
coming
Jesus
out of your
Christ.
face, I can see it already.
Okay, what else do we have to talk about?
Yeah, right.
So more on that later. That's going to be coming in the new year.
Yeah, something that will give us all a little more connectivity so that we all have a shared experience at the same time together, which is cool.
So I will start it with my table, and then as DMs want to, they can join in and
Yeah, we're obviously
more
not going
about
to
that.
force anyone to play in
no,
it,
not at all.
but we're going to try and do something. We're going to try and go an extra mile on D&D. We're going to try and make it cooler, I guess.
Yeah.
And now we have
bring a-
tokens that we can use.
Yeah, we're going to have some really cool tokens. What do you want to do with the laser engraver?
I just thought of an idea that just came to me.
What's that?
I want to make the coins of the Western Watch.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, you got to go design the Western
I
Watch
gotta go
logo.
design the logo now. Also, you should have roving bands of gypsies that rob people, and that's what you can call them the Western Watch to defend you from.
Yeah, you get their coin, and it's it's like your Valor Morghulis coin.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Except that it leads to a super ineffectual team of not professional soldiers who kind of do things.
Right.
They just kind of bash heads in with cudgels and regain order.
They just try to beat up gypsies in the street. That's really it.
Sure.
That's
So,
the adventure.
What
I
are you
wanna
doing
play.
with it?
I want to brand people with it because we
What?
learned it. Yeah, if you put your hand, it's a really good laser. If you put your hand in there, it'll totally sear designs in your flesh.
I'm
I've
sure
already
it will.
propositioned several people at the shop to let me put my marks on them.
If we had enough topical ointment, they might not even feel it. So it'd be,
Huh.
yeah.
What do
I'm
you
just
really
saying-
want to do with it?
I want to make tokens with it.
For
I want to make
objective
tokens.
and
I want to
stuff?
make tokens.
Yeah,
Obviously,
objectives
I'm a big
for
minis
sure.
guy, right?
Right.
So fucking shocker right now. I want to make tokens for Warhammer. I want to make tokens
Age
for
of Sigmar, 40K.
Yeah, everything minis. But more than just minis, I want to make tokens. Obviously, again, you're already doing stuff for D&D. I want to also make tokens for things like Keyforge. I want to make tokens for Magic. Like, I cannot begin to tell you how many times I would kill for like some +1/+1 tokens.
Yeah.
And not have to use like a fucking pile of dice every time in Magic.
Sure.
That'd be kind of nice. So I want to do things like that, but I also want to do some other unique stuff with it. I want to do some cool prizes. I want to give out some like unique campaign coins and stuff for things, both for campaigns for minis and for RPGs. And I want really,
I want the special coins to have our faces
Yeah.
on the other side. So
yeah,
that's
in profile you're
Yeah.
gonna get a me coin,
Yeah.
but only we can give those out. They're gonna
Yeah.
be that's how you get your eyes wide shut invitation. Like, yeah, I will
Basically,
coin you.
a challenge coin from the owners for doing cool things for the store.
Sure.
That's I don't know. Really, we're just drunk with power because we have a fucking sweet laser. Like, there's so many warnings on it. It's like, don't look at the laser. And already, Ben was like working on it.
The
on
other day,
Saturday.
he's like, I can't stop staring.
I was
at it.
like,
just sitting
stop
there
looking at the
watching it."
laser. It's going to hurt your eyes. There's like literally warnings about like not to do it anywhere near a mirrored surface because it'll refract and like start burning shit. And I was like, that'd be crazy. cool.
Wow.
So we should be careful with the super hot laser in our comic book store. Full of like ultra flammable shit. Like basically our store is more or less a giant tinderbox. It's a bunch of
is.
plastic, polystyrene, paper, and
I always said
aerosol products.
if there was a bad fire that started and you were in the basement and couldn't get out, they'd essentially just find you entombed in plastic.
Yeah,
the fire department.
totally,
Yeah, just-
right? Like your only hope is to literally throw magic cards in the fire because they don't burn.
I love that Wizards basically wanted to make sure that they were not even useful in the apocalypse. No offense to our Magic players.
They don't,
But
magic
they
cards
don't
do not
burn.
burn. No,
So comics, at least you could fire start with.
you can burn
It's
magic
not
cards. It's just
clean
really
burning, yeah.
hard to do.
It smells
Okay.
really gross.
Yeah, it smells like sadness.
It is.
It's what I imagine
Broken
the Ukraine
dreams.
smells like. It's like burning magic cards is what the Ukraine smells like.
I have to share a minor anecdote. And I was doing some Christmas shopping this weekend, and one of the salespeople, she had what seemed like a Russian accent, and she was kind of asking, she was kind of asking me about my job and stuff, and had I ever traveled over
she's
that
probably
area.
a spy.
Right.
Probably. Where I was going.
Yeah.
So like, oh no, I've done this, and I was like,
I've
been
state government, I see.
state government.
How
Can I get?
are you for work for American government, my friend?
Do you make good money? Would you like extra income?
Would you like a little bit more? Perhaps you have addiction to gambling. I can blackmail.
Use Hotmail address.
Yeah, right. Hotmail is sketchy shit, man. Yahoo, it's going to your junk folder. Hotmail, that's for some dirty deals.
Mm-hmm. So I'm talking about it, and I mentioned I studied abroad and in Germany, and I said,
Russians love Germans.
They do. Well, the Russian
friends.
Russian gangs are the worst in Germany. When I studied at the Bavarian Correctional Academy, I was like, so who are your problem people? And they were like, those fucking Russians. They're like, our prison's good, but Russians, awful. Like, they just terrible. And the funny thing is that apparently the Russians won't do what they call women's work. So, like, they're like, if you try to make a Russian inmate clean a toilet or mop, like, instead they'll fight you. And they're like, so you want to fight? Yeah, just fight you.
I know to mop. No,
I not mop, I fight. And so I was like, I told her, I was like, I hope I don't offend you telling you this. And she's like, do you think I'm Russian? I'm like, I wondered. And she's like, I'm Ukrainian. I hate Russian dog. I was like,
oh, wow.
this is like a really nice department store. And it's just like, fucking Russians made my country.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, okay, so so I don't know where I was going with that story.
I mean, Russians, Ukrainians, they're all named Yuri and Boris in my books.
Yeah.
So.
The moral of the story
They're basically like the trailer park of Europe.
They are.
Yeah, it's super weird. Like, if you ever watch any, like, Russian videos, it's, like, always some dude in a wife beater lighting shit on fire, but instead of being like, oh, damn! I'm like, holy shit! He's like, bro, who's with you? Eating yakuis, and he's, like, running around. There's, like, a ton of shit. They're crazy.
So I went to that Christmas Village today to do some shopping in Denver, which I highly recommend. It's on 16th Street.
Krishnoff, the cable guy.
Yeah, right.
And
Krishnoff, cable guy, number one success in my country. He's really funny, guy. I like him very much.
This Russian family had bought one whole row of the Christmas thing and were selling Russian Christmas stuff.
Oh, Jesus.
And the old man had
Russianize this already?
The old man of the group, he had on like one of those, I call him a Russian hat, but you
Yushanka.
know what I'm talking. Yeah, thank you. You know what I meant immediately.
Yeah, you have to study the enemy to know him.
Yeah, he was wearing a Yushanka.
The big furry thing.
They had a whole bunch of Russian kids that are like trying to sell you stuff like Santa, very nice. You need Santa for your house.
You like these Amerikansky, huh? You want the Santa Claus?
But I almost bought
everything was made of mayonnaise. Very nice.
The best thing I saw was Vladimir Putin nesting dolls.
I've seen those.
And it goes through his different things. There's like, you open one, and it's Vladimir Putin on horseback. You open the next, it's Vladimir Putin diving. I'm like, oh,
fucking Vladimir Putin shirtless and half of that. Yeah. No, I think my favorite Vladimir Putin thing is the Vladimir Putin butt plug.
Vladimir Putin butt plug.
You can get Kim Jong-un. There's a Glorious Leader butt plug. That's as close as you can get to Glorious Leader.
Let's press on.
I agree.
All right.
We got off topic there.
Okay, butt plugs and Vladimir Putin. We're back, baby. This is it. This is the podcast.
I know. Back to wrangling cats. Okay.
I do have something though.
Good.
Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Great miniatures game.
Wieners.
The authentic version. I absolutely love this miniatures game. If you want block style fantasy medieval combat, this is it. It's fun. It's fast paced. It's affordable.
Hands down the best block miniature combat you can get on the market right now.
And block miniature combat means
block miniature combat is where you have ranks of soldiers in lines, right?
Okay.
That's what I thought. You're in like square formations, right?
Yeah.
So those are your blocks of soldiers. It's fairly straightforward.
It's much simpler than a lot of block.
Yeah, it's pretty simple, which is nice.
It has a fun mechanic. It has a fun mechanic where you have like, because in Game of Thrones it's so big what's happening at court and the politics. You get to play that in the game as well.
Yeah, there's a worker placement element to it.
There is some worker placement. It's interesting.
That doesn't surprise me because I was reading. It's designed by Eric Lang, who's very known for his great miniature CMON games. So.
CMON, cool mini or not, does make this.
I hate calling them CMON.
I know it's why they went with that. That was
because the only other one they could have done was Come On.
Come On. Come On Games.
I guess I'd rather be CMON than Come On.
Right. Come on down to Come On Games.
So
it's really a great game.
I just got the Night Watch set. Read through the rules. and I'm ready for somebody to show me how to play.
Or I'm going to teach you. I play Lannisters, who are awesome. Love my
I play the
Lannisters.
Boltons.
Is that a shock to any of you? And
You
do
can't
know
even play
how?
the Boltons. They're like a neutral.
Yeah, I play neutral
It's-
faction,
it's-
but it's Boltons.
But it's Boltons.
Yeah.
The only thing neutral
It's
they
House
make
Bolton as well.
is Bolton.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, everybody's like, oh,
And the
here.
only reason when I read that they made House Bolton neutral is they wanted to recognize that they're traitorous bastards and will play for multiple sides.
I believe it.
So you can play. You can also play the Boltons with the Starks or the Lannisters.
Yeah. Everybody's like,
I can't believe you're playing.
I mean, really, if we're going to talk about
I
war,
was more like
war
talking
crimes
about,
here, we're going to talk about the Death Star being destroyed by terrorists.
also still more evil. Millions of people. The Boltons
guess
have
that's
killed
true,
maybe a
but-
few thousand. I don't know.
It's not so much
They're not even at Stalin level evil
levels
yet.
of.
You didn't.
I mean,
they didn't have enough time.
I'm not talking about
Yeah.
numbers. I'm talking about like
Acts.
torture. Like torture to me is
So
worse
wait,
than that.
torturing one person is worse than killing a whole planet? Just throw that one out there for me, real quick.
Okay, they didn't feel any pain.
Do you know that? Did you watch Rogue One? The planet in New Hope, it just was like, but in Rogue One, when they test it, it's just like it blows up a little bit, and then it's like fucking wall of Earth. It's like the Yellowstone volcano going off. And you're just
Yeah.
like, well, I got a few
You're just
minutes.
standing there watching your
Right.
death
I
coming.
don't think they felt anything. There were a little fear before it got there.
You know
maybe
who-
some anxiety.
Mike,
You know
okay.
who felt something was Director Krennic watching it. He's like, oh, it's quite beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Is torturing one person more evil than blowing up a whole planet?
We
Yes
don't
or no?
I bet he tortured more than just
Okay, is torturing 100 people more evil than blowing up one planet?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Killing tens of thousands of children is less evil than torturing 100 people to you?
Yeah.
That's fucking weird. That's super fucking weird. I would
Yeah.
don't if you said, all right, Kyle, we're either gonna kill 100 busloads of 100 children or we're gonna torture 100 people. I would go torture 100 people. Just fine, because those people don't even necessarily die. They're just shattered emotionally and mentally. They're not dead.
Now, you have to say the special Bolton moment in the TV show is where they meet for the Battle of the Bastards, and he's got all the burning crosses with upside-down burning flayed men.
I'm not saying they're nice people. I'm just saying they're really interesting villains.
What's your favorite mechanic of them in the game?
Theon.
Yeah, tell the audience.
So, if you bring Ramsey, which I usually do, Ramsey also has the option for free to come with Reek. You can bring Reek. And in the game, when you activate Ramsey's unit, you can cut pieces of Reek off. Which is not my design, I just take advantage of it. And doing this freaks the fuck out of the enemy troops. There is a catch, however. Every turn you cut a part of Reek off, you roll a d6, and on a 5, you've cut too much, and he just dies. But this isn't a loss. There's no actual downside to doing this. Because he's not worth anything. He's just a bargaining chip. It's not my fault they made it fucking cool.
It's pretty insane.
I do want to do some terrain, some like
I
flamed
would.
crosses. It'd be
Yeah,
fun.
you should.
I have a lot of terrain projects I want to get done. I want to just finish some of the stuff we've already got. That's kind of
The Lannisters, I'd say I very much enjoy playing the Lannisters that you can just buy things off, like
It's like the most you are.
It is.
Here's the guy who's like playing the sister fuckers.
Yeah.
Who pay the Boltons to be evil people. How is that not the most evil? They
I
literally
didn't describe how it had to be done. I just said the job needed
they
to be done.
literally
I gave
hired
the Boltons
they
creative.
literally hired the Mountain to kill Ilya Martell, rape her, and kill her children.
That's
he
war.
literally throws a baby
That's
against
war.
a wall. That's not war.
That's war.
And you're telling me the Boltons are the evil people?
You had to put
No.
the more
Is it
time.
more evil to throw a baby against a wall or torture someone?
explicitly say do all these things.
He's
Yes,
just a
they
mad-
did. They said yes, they did. You need
He's
to
a
read the
mad
books.
hound.
You need to read the books. They tell him to kill those kids. It's part of the
But they
story.
didn't say
But
how
I didn't
to.
say right.
Yeah.
There's no.
Okay.
Rape them first.
Wait. So, tell me where it's not an evil person thing to kill the kids. You're literally sitting here.
On
Both
a
of you are sitting
sliding
here.
scale, it gets worse.
Both of
than
you are
beating
sitting
him
here
against a
fucking
wall.
defending a dude who rapes and kills a lady and then kills her kid.
That's not what we're saying.
You are absolutely
saying that.
defending
I'm just
that.
saying that
No.
he needed a job done.
Officers, I'm the good guy.
Sir Gregor got a little carried away, that's all. Just like he did when he killed Dorian. I mean, he could have just bit his throat out. That would have been just as...
Really?
Evil's not black and white.
Yeah, it's not.
I don't disagree with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, like, you can't be the guys who employ the rapist child murderer and then be like, those other Bolton guys, though, they're really bad people. That's pretty hypocritical. Now, you can play the Starks and be total goody two-shoes and be like, we don't do anything wrong, my lord.
If anything, Sir
Winter is
Gregor,
coming.
I'll criticize him on his animal abuse where he just cuts the horse's head off. That's pretty dark. I love animals.
Sure.
Yeah. But anyway, my favorite thing about the Lannisters to play them is you can do Wealth of the Rock, which gives you bonuses on your armor save. I can do paid mutinies. And my personal favorite is Fealty to the Crown, where when enemy soldiers run away, you make them join your ranks. So, Drew just got a starter
I just
set,
got
though.
the set and read the rules. I haven't
Okay.
played yet. So I've heard about the whole
Night Watch
take
have
the
some
black
cool
thing,
things.
and
Yeah, you can make
were
an
telling
enemy
me about
character take the black.
Fucking the Night's Watch in the game are so crazy.
These are not
It's
the
not your
criminal Night
granddad's
Watch.
Night's Watch.
Yeah,
these guys are not
are like
horse
SEAL
thieves and
Team
rapists. They're like elite fighters. It's like what the Night's Watch is supposed to be, not what they are. Like, they are all terrifying to fight. It sucks.
the models are tits.
The models are great. The
models in
cool
this
mini
game
or
are
not.
incredible.
They're great minis.
And the best thing is they're all assembled. You open them up and you're ready to play.
That's what I love about it.
Yeah.
It's totally
Colored plastic.
It's totally like casual friendly. Like you don't have to do a lot of work to play it. It's nice.
It's a great game. So
Yeah, it's really
so that which led to one of the things I want to do with the laser cutter is I'd like to make some house objectives for folks that play in our
that'd be
events
cool.
with house symbols.
Yep.
I'm sure we could do that.
Yep. If you're HBO, I'm just kidding, but not really.
So
Some X's with dudes drawn on
Yeah.
them and some lion heads
Yeah.
and shit.
another game that's come out since a lot of games that come out since we last podcast. Is
Right?
one
like
what,
that's
like
dozen?
taking our store by
250 board game.
right. One that's taking our store by storm right now is Keyforge.
Yes.
And
Keyforge.
We've all played that.
Andrew Garfield is the creator of that and the guy who made Magic.
Yep.
Keyforge is pretty cool. So it's
I have to admit, I was really skeptical, and I
I
liked
was
it even.
too. Like when
Yeah.
so it got spoiled at Gen Con this summer, and when they were like, it's a new game, it's procedurally generated, and you don't build decks, you just buy a deck every time. It's like basically your booster pack is a whole deck, and you just open it up and play. And I was like, that is completely stupid. I was like, that's so not interesting because you don't get to do all the work. I was like, look at all the time you're not going to have to spend building shit and like
All the time you're going to spend sorting
yeah,
cards.
you don't have to sort all these cards. What? You don't have to go look for one card. I was like, that's so dumb. And then I woke up and I was like, wait a minute. The way I like to play Magic is sealed. I like to not actually do any of that shit.
Yeah, at all.
I like to just buy something and play it, which Keyforge is fucking perfect for. And then I was like, oh, it sounds like a dumb game. I don't like the way it sounds. And then I played it when we got sent some demo decks, and I was like, this game's actually really awesome.
Yep.
This is really
I
good
have
game.
one key problem with Keyforge.
Yeah. What's your key problem with Keyforge?
Availability, right?
So it's a standard.
It's Fantasy Flight.
Yeah, it's Fantasy Flight, guys.
So I wish we had more to sell you.
I also
I wish we had more to run sealed events too, because I think that's what's really cool.
Yeah,
about sealed
it's
events.
cool. The events for it are really, really cool. They'll get more eventually.
I know.
It's
I don't
coming.
know. Yeah,
It's
right.
coming.
It's on the slow boat right now, maybe.
Yeah.
It's on the show. It's on the boat. Yeah.
On the boat,
Thanks,
yeah.
FFG.
Jesus,
FFG.
invest in a plane for God's sakes at some point.
right.
Like the amount of fucking money you make on Star Wars, you think they could buy a goddamn old beater plane? Some drunk pilot to fly
Yeah,
from
right.
China to
He's
New York.
clearly a Russian anyway.
There's got to be an Ivan out there who's like, I flew a
God,
plane. We'll go. So
Yeah.
he's like sipping from vodka in his
Yeah,
glass as he's taking off.
Yeah, he's drinking vodka and he's like done a ton of cocaine. Like,
Stay away from like the
Yeah, right, he just-
flight.
like okay,
Games to the
get
kids.
the games to the kids. Seal a capitalist, big dogs.
I always want to be Russian Santa.
Yeah, God. Originally, when I flew plane, I figured I would fly plane over Amerikanskis, drop atomic bomb, but now I drop off a Star Wars toys. Like, Yuri could totally do that job.
And he'd have one of those hats.
He'd have a Ushanka, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
I still think that FFG, they don't make bad games. They make
They make
really
great
good
games,
games.
yeah.
They have, generally speaking, really high product quality.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that 90% of the stuff that they make, I think, is fantastic, is like superior or better quality. They just need to split into two divisions. Like FFG needs to split itself into a separate, I would say honestly, a separate Star Wars division, because they have so much stuff in their Star Wars catalog that's why other games are slowed down, and the other games also slow down Star Wars. And they need to just split those divisions out. Like, here's all just our Star Wars product, and like have a separate team that's just running that. I still think they need to get their order checker man, who is the doublet guy. Who's like, how much do we think we need for this? And somebody's like, I think we need about 10,000 units. And order checker man pops his head and he's like, make it 20,000. It's Keith Stone, basically. He's super smooth.
Yeah.
He's always smooth. Keith Stone's like 20,000. I'm like, Keith Stone, you're so smooth. And they order an adequate amount of shit. And then we're not out on day one, and like people can get it for like more than 4 days.
Yes,
and
it's like every single product they make, they're super cautious. Like it's the first product they produce.
Right.
Like we don't want to overdo it.
Some level though, I don't think it's necessarily.
Nobody's going to want all these new Star Wars cards, or
right? They're like, ooh, brand new TIE Fighter. I don't know, man. Might sell really well, but might not. We don't want to be sitting on even one of these.
Brand new game designed by the creator of Magic. Go easy.
Yeah, right. Like, ooh, Richard Garfield. He's only designed a dick ton of games that we sell, and he designed Magic the Gathering. We should be conservative on this order, I think. Like, yeah, like, what are you fucking kidding me? No, so like, it's. I don't think it's just that though, right? It's not like they're not producing enough. I think there's sort of they've sort of kind of created this myth where like all their shit's going to be out on day one. So I think on some level, part of it's intentional, right? I think on some level they're like, yeah, whatever we do make, we're going to sell out because everyone's going to buy it right away because they're going to know that if they don't, they might not get it. And then the other kind of issue, I guess, that I see with this, that I think that sort of come out of this, is that I think a lot of places out there are like big stores are ordering pallets of shit and just sitting on it, right? Like Game Shop in Omaha.
Yeah. Super
cool store. Really like them. They have 2 locations in Omaha. They're nice folks.
But when we visited, we found where all of our tournament kits were.
yeah. They're just like, oh yeah, we just ordered like 10 of every tournament kit, and I'm like, but they had like literally a shelf with tournament kits from like 2 years ago, and I'm like, well, that's the problem right there, right? Like they're ordering more than they can use, and they're just sitting on it, but not doing anything with it. Where there's other stores out there who like
I can't get one.
I can't get one, and they would die to get one.
Yeah.
And here's this store who's got like 4 kits.
There's got to be a lot of stores like that.
Oh, I think there are, right? Like Century Box in Ottawa. Possibly the most prolific game store in North America. 22,000 square feet of fucking insane inventory, and that guy like. Gordon, super nice guy. I've met him a couple times. Really cool. He just orders in a different quantity than most stores because he's got 22,000 square feet and he fills that bad boy up. Like he is huge.
And as a game store owner now, I think about the amount of capital it takes to do that. It's unbelievable.
And it's in Canadian money.
I know, which is like Canada bucks.
Yeah, it costs even more.
A lot more.
Yeah, and they have less distributors. Yeah. Because the same distributors we use don't supply Canada.
Interesting.
Huh.
It's only Games Workshop does both. It's weird, but like. There are stores like that who I think are buying, like, they're like, oh, Keyforge is coming out, and they call up, like, they have a separate rep. They don't have the same pleb rep that stores our size have to go through. And they go, listen here, I want 4 pallets of Keyforge. Because I have seen the amount of Keyforge that Century Box has, and it's like pallets. Like pallets of Keyforge.
It's just incredible.
Yeah, right. Like, and now
we're like, we got 2 boxes.
Yeah, I'm like, woo! Right. Like, we ordered in 3 booster boxes and 7 starter sets, and we sold them all out. And got 2 more booster boxes.
He's got to have like a shipping receiving room with like.
He does. He has a separate warehouse on the back of the store.
Yeah, you could not just do that in your normal business.
No, right? Like, it wouldn't work. So I think that's also part of it, right? Yeah. So it's not just FFG. Like, I know for us, it's kind of one of our things. We kind of poke a lot of fun at. Like, FFG can't.
We like to riff on it.
We do. We rip on that a lot. But it's not just them, right? It's like it's a combination of things, and I think part of it is other stores who aren't necessarily selling it. Like it was really hard at first to get Star Wars Destiny, like the first few sets, and there are stores on the East Coast who, like, when the hurricanes were hitting this year, were like piling up the original box sets. They're like, yeah, this is what we use our Destiny for because we got so much of it. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And they're like, I found a use for my Destiny product. They're like sandbagging their doors with Destiny boxes. They're like, we just can't sell all of it. And I'm like, well, why do you order so much?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I will say that Star Wars, I think Star Wars is moving to a good place. I think that second edition
X-Wing
is actually, I played it. It's very fun.
It's focused on actually playing the game and not what upgrades you have, which is a really nice change.
I like that immensely. We recently ran an event, thanks to Ken, on Battle for Yavin. And I think people really liked that. They liked the narrative style event for X-Wing, which
let's
I'm
talk
a big
about that
fan
for
of.
a quick second because I want to chat about it. Battle for Yavin was a thematic tournament for X-Wing in which no matter which faction you played, there was like 3 or 4 different ships you could choose for each one, and that was it. It was with the new X-Wing app, which is I know had kind of some issues and stuff like that, but the idea and the concept of the X-Wing app is pretty cool. You literally would select that you're playing this tournament, and it would limit what you could take. The app would just tell you these are the only options.
It was like A-Wings, Y-Wings, X-Wing.
I think it's just the X-Wing.
Falcon.
It's just the X-Wing, Y-Wing, and Falcon.
And then the Empire had
The
TIE
Empire
Fighter,
TIE
TIE
Fighter,
Advanced,
TIE
and the
Advanced,
shuttle.
The shuttle. That was it. I think it's like the
it
coolest
was
thing
great.
they've done.
Yeah.
Like, to me, I think the really interesting part in Star Wars, whether it be X-Wing or Legion or any of the Star Wars games, I think the thing that they are maybe just starting to figure out now, and that I hope they really capitalize on, is the story is what makes the game cool, right? Like, I could just have a tournament where it's just a bunch of endless battles in space, and that's fine. It's not bad, but like, isn't it more cool when we're literally getting to relive these moments from,
It almost feels
from
like
the movies?
that's the next step of any game, right?
Yeah.
Even though this one's like 6 years old now, but like, let's get the toys in the hands and develop a rule set that works, right? Okay, now we have this that works. Now we can start putting some fluff.
Doing
into
some
this.
cool shit.
Yeah, when when I'm a fluffy guy, nothing would make me angrier than when I'd be playing X-Wing and they have like a ship from the First Order Resistance with like a ship from the Battle of Yavin, and then there's like something random from the middle. And I know that's part of the game. I know it's legal, but God, it drives me crazy.
Well,
Well, it's part of the
anymore.
mechanics of it.
Yeah, it's the mechanics.
Yeah, you can't mix factions anymore. You can't.
You can't.
First
And I'm
Order
very
is a
glad
separate
about
faction
that.
Now. I am
I'm very
too.
glad
That's
about
fine.
that.
I don't like the idea of Kylo Ren, the Emperor, and Vader all flying around together. That's
Yeah.
fucking dumb. That's just dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole fam.
Yeah.
3 generations of disappointment.
So I got something really exciting yesterday.
Yeah, what's that?
Are we done with Star Wars?
Sure.
Okay.
I don't know. Unless you want anything else you want to say.
We'll talk about Legion more next time. I'll come up with some
Yeah, we have
stuff
some-
to
we have some
talk
stuff
about
to
some
talk about
Legion
Legion
stuff, but
later.
we'll do it next time.
Sure.
Sweet. So I was a backer. Don't plug your ears, Kyle. I was a backer of the
Fucking Kickstarter.
the Savage Worlds Kickstarter.
Next thing he's going to know, he's going to tell us he bought his Catan at Target.
Yeah.
All right.
Good job, GM Drew.
Right. So this thing.
How
I lost my train.
How much were they looking for on that Kickstarter? Like 100,000?
So no. Okay. Yeah,
What'd they
start
want?
there.
What'd they-
So in October, that's when it was. That's what I
Sure.
was trying to figure out. Their goal was 15,000.
And what'd they get?
561.
Yeah, see, that's why they don't, like, companies that are established companies don't need Kickstarter. Looking at you, Coolman, you're not. You didn't need to kickstart Game of Thrones, but you sure fucking did. They were like, hey, should we take a risk? You know, like, let's be a traditional company and, like, let's invest some of our money into Game of Thrones. I wonder if that'll sell. And they're like, oh, I wouldn't do that. We need to use a Kickstarter platform because we don't have the available capital to fund a program without somebody else helping out.
Don't know if I agree
So
with
broken.
you on that for everything.
Kickstarter is black and white to me, right?
Sure.
It's for people and companies who want to get an idea off the ground, but they couldn't do it in another way.
They don't have a bank that'll give them a loan.
They don't.
have
Right?
backup capital.
Traditional methods won't work for them. And I think Kickstarter is beautiful for small bands doing an album. I think it's beautiful for this is the first game I've ever produced. It's beautiful for like help me make this project work. Where I think it gets abused, however, is big companies like Coolman You're Not.
Reaper, yeah.
Reaper, literally, when I went to Gamma a couple years ago, they were talking about the Reaper Bones Kickstarter because it was killing all the Bones sales for everybody. It was the constant Kickstarters. It was like, oh, our customers should just give everything on Bones Kickstarter, and nobody was buying anything. And so people were like, why do we carry this line? And the Reaper guys in the seminar, like, well, we're here to announce our next Kickstarter. Like, our last one made $4.3 million. And it was like, how do you need more money to make the, like, you're, like, literally...
So
I'm going to bag on Reaper for a second. You make not cool-looking minis. They're not that great.
No, they're not.
Like, you're paying some fucking college kid $15 an hour to sculpt this thing, and you need fucking $4 more million? Are you shitting me? Like, it's literally, Reaper is literally run out of a warehouse in Texas. And I've seen the warehouse. It's not that big. $4 million could buy 4 of those warehouses, all right? It's pretty ridiculous. So I think when companies come through and abuse it, that's where it makes me
I don't
upset.
think Pinnacle abuses it.
If you look for $15,000 and you get $5 million,
It wasn't 5 million. It was 500,000.
okay,
But
how many multiple times more is that? Like, it's still
That's
insane.
just it, though. It's the Kickstarter comes with a built-in marketing system, right?
Sure.
the hype, the organic
I don't know
nature.
who they are, so you'll have to tell me who they
Okay,
are.
Pinnacle is the company that makes Savage Worlds.
Still 33.3 times more than they ever needed.
Savage Worlds is a
I'm gonna kickstart my mortgage.
my work.
Help me pay my mortgage, and this is all the cool shit that I'll let people do if you help me out. For $5,000 a piece, you can come hang out at my house. For $10,000 a piece, you can sleep in my bed, with or without me. For $15,000 a piece, you can sleep in my bed and I'll rub your feet. Are you fucking kidding me? Come on.
Okay.
Carry on with your Kickstarter shit.
I will. Thanks.
You're welcome.
So Savage Worlds is a role-playing system that's been around for a while. It was originally created as a tabletop Western miniatures game and morphed into I guess it. Now, don't kill me if I get this wrong, some of you Denver folks. It morphed into an alternative to the D20 system.
Okay.
Right? So they've always had this fast, furious fun. It's rules light, role play heavy kind of system. Anyway, they decided it was time for a new edition. Enough rule changes, so to get
Not enough money had been made.
I don't think it's that. I think companies use Kickstarter as an organic way to get the hype engine going. The more, and I don't know this for sure, but they might have set the 15,000 at a rate to say, hey, we were funded in 6 minutes, so this must be good. So there's this hype that comes along with it. Kickstarter gets a big chunk of that change too.
They do.
So,
but when you're making 33 times what you asked for, who cares?
Right?
It's true.
They ended up
so what did they give you for the Kickstarter?
a shit ton of stuff.
If I asked, if I was asking for $1 and you were like gonna go around asking people for me,
Yeah.
and I got 33 and you're like, okay, but 4 of that's mine, I'd be like, no fucking problem, bro.
Yeah.
No fucking problem.
Yeah. Sure. So
Did I get $33 when I needed only 1? You can have 4
so the
months.
Kickstarter came with obviously the new rules set and also a bunch of other settings and stuff they already have on PDFs, and I've got all that too, and it's all backwards compatible. And all that stuff. So anyway, I've been reading through that for the last
Wrap it up, Jim.
the last couple days, and it's pretty cool.
Do you like
so
it?
So far, so good.
For those who don't know, GM Drew really likes RPGs a lot.
I do.
It's kind of his shit.
It's his kind of
his
thing.
jams, yeah.
Right.
What does this have over other RPGs that you like?
Simplicity.
Okay.
And
It is a good system.
Yeah.
I'm teasing Pinnacle and Kickstarter. Savage Worlds is actually a really badass RPG.
Yeah.
I've played quite a bit of it. It's pretty fantastic.
one thing that's cool about it is it's like a boilerplate rule set, and you can lay on top any type of setting. So everything from fantasy to sci-fi, pulp, pirates, all that stuff.
Well, shall we
We've
do
got
our
about-
last
We've
word?
got about 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
Right.
We have like 3 topics left.
What are our topics left?
We have Genghis. We're
Yeah,
going to chat about Genghis
let's
Khan.
talk about Genghis.
And then we have
Why don't you just
the return of the road to Adepticon.
Yes.
Why don't you just talk about Genghis as your last word?
Sure. So some friends of mine down in Denver.
Are we on last words?
Yeah.
We'll do last words and then we'll do it.
At the end of the road?
Then the road.
Yeah.
That's weird, but okay.
It's okay. It'll be
Because
okay.
it's a different
Carry on,
segment.
carry on.
It's its own segment.
Last words.
We can do
Professionals.
specific
Go on.
episodes.
Yeah, we're really good at this shit if you couldn't tell.
So some friends of mine have taken over the Genghis Khan reins and are
Denver
trying,
locals.
Yep.
Yeah.
Trying really hard to make it one of the best cons in the region. So
I'm excited about them taking over. I think I already enjoy Genghis. I'm excited to see someone take over who's like, I want to make this more. That'd be cool.
absolutely. I go down there and I play Shocker role-playing games.
Weird. You can play a ton of games. There's a lot of games there.
Denver has an awesome Savage Worlds community, and they're really open and accepting to new players and all that stuff. So if you want to try it, that's the place to do it. Also,
Good first con.
Yeah.
it was my first con.
It's a good.
It was mine too. It's a good
Yeah.
first con.
Yeah, I think it was mine too. It's been going for like 20 something.
And you
years.
guys go down and play 40K.
We go and play
We
40K.
do play 40K.
It's a good first con. It's a good local con. Like it's solid. Like if you haven't been to Genghis, I highly recommend it. There's stuff for everyone. There's stuff for minis people. There's stuff for RPG folks, board game folks. I think there's some CCGs going on there. Like, there's a lot. It's very solid.
So
Good time.
So this is the first time I'm doing this, but they've been doing this for a couple of years. They have what they call Friday Night Bar Fight.
Okay.
Now, you know, in our D&D game, I give inspiration, and we call it bennies. Bennies is from Savage Worlds, right? If you want to do a benny on the Friday Night Bar Fight, it's a shot.
Okay.
I would be a champ at this game.
Yeah.
So I've heard it's a lot of fun. I'm going to try it this year. I'm going to try to get into the game where
it's gaming-sponsored alcohol poisoning.
All right, so you're going to keep us updated on games, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Kyle, what do you want to talk about?
My last word is it's gonna be really short. Guys, I'm glad we're back. I'm glad we're sitting here together doing the podcast. I'm glad you guys are watching and or listening. Thank you. We appreciate all your support. We appreciate you hassling us and getting us back into this, because it is a lot of fun. It's one of the things I really look forward to every week. It's a big deal to me, so thank you.
I make my last word seem superficial. Good
Mine
job.
was.
So I definitely would recommend to folks. I'm currently reading through Dan Abnett's book Magos about Inquisitor Eisenhorn. It's a blast. If you've never read any of the Eisenhorn books, I would highly recommend it. They are a ton of fun. It's like a Jason Bourne novel set in 40K.
Dan Abnett's one of the best.
Dan Abnett's one of the best authors.
Great comic writer too.
He does comics. I also found that he writes for several other different genres as well.
He does a lot of writing for Marvel still.
Yeah,
so
it's
he's
impressive.
Really good. Yeah.
But it's great story, a lot of fun. If you like kind of seeing the underside of chaos and the Imperium and all that kind of kooky weirdness that is the 41st millennium, these books are for you.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
All right, it's good to be back.
Yeah,
it's good to be back.
All right, we'll see you next time, guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys. See ya.
The Road to Adepticon, brought to you by Charleston Chew, Snacky Smalls, and War Bonds. Buy more War Bonds to keep our boys flying. Also brought to you by the M1 Grand. Stack 'em high, boys. Stack 'em high. Join us on our journey to discovery and army building for Warhammer 40,000 and Age of Sigmar.
Good
Welcome to the Road to Adepticon, a CJ and Kyle only segment. Fuck GM.
It's brought to you by Snacky Smalls.
That's right, brought to you by Snaggy Smalls and the M1 Grand. Stack 'em high, boys. Stack 'em high. So it is, we are back, Road to Adepticon. We are something
again.
like 140-ish days or something like that out.
And there's a shit ton of work to do.
Yeah, so, surprise, we haven't done much.
As in
we
nothing.
have a concept.
We have a concept.
And we
I have
talked about things.
A bad hand, so that's...
Yeah, CJ's hand is all fucked up, so he can't paint, so
Yeah.
that puts a little more weight. So right now, I guess the cool thing about this year's Road to Adepticon...
you were talking about gamers and putting more weight on something.
Yeah, shocker. Right? If you are just joining us for the first time, Road to Adepticon is our segment that we have about half of the year, or a little less than half the year, I guess.
At this point, it might as well just be like a 1 month break after Adepticon and then just restart.
Road to Adepticon.
But then we have the Trail to Bug Eater.
We have the Trail to Bug Eater.
The Train to Bug Eater. What did we say?
I think it was the... well, we actually never did the segment.
We never did the segment.
I don't know.
We planned a
We had a
whole
Bug Eater segment, and we
yeah.
actually recorded it at one point. There's a lot of shit that like kind of got lost.
It's
on the cutting room floor.
Starship Trooper themed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Road to Adepticon is our segment where we talk about our preparations for going to Adepticon and playing the 40K team tournament. Also the other events we have going this year. So I think maybe we'll just talk about the events we're going to.
Yes.
I'm going to play in the Age of Sigmar Vanguard tournament, which is a 1,000-point Age of Sigmar tournament. I'm also teaming up with Mr. Richard Coles. Hey, Richard, if you're watching. To play in the Age of Sigmar doubles tournament. And then myself, CJ, Richard Coles, and Ed are all teaming up for the Warhammer 40K team tournament, which is the 4-man teams.
That's the creme de la creme.
It is essentially the crown
the
jewel.
gold standard.
The crown jewel into Adepticon.
I am doing, right now I'm signed up with Ed with playing Adeptus Titanicus on Thursday.
Yeah.
Friday I'm doing the Age of Sigmar team tournament with Nick Cadman. Hello, Nick. We're going to really stomp some face, and I think Nick does special things to people.
Nick's a fucking monster.
He is. You experienced that
I did.
yesterday.
Son of a bitch. Now, I think, honestly, his army is really, really good.
Yeah, they're
and
really good.
The unfortunate thing is, I think the way that I build my army, his army will basically always have my number because I don't have the staying power I'd need against an army that has more staying power than me.
I mean, normally you're known for staying power.
Yeah, normally I'm a solid rock. I'm a ton of flesh that doesn't move. But in the scenario where his little eel riders are actually tougher, it turns out that they're tougher and they put out a little more damage.
Yeah.
So they also mitigate some of the damage I do put out. So they're always going to eat my breakfast. It's not good.
So we'll definitely keep you up to date on what we're doing for the 40K team tournament.
Yeah.
We do have some big plans. Do you want to spoil the plan, or you want to wait?
Which big plan?
Well, what the concept is.
Oh, we can totally spoil the concept. We are doing a thematic build this year for 40K teams, and we are doing the battle for the Magma City from the Horus Heresy book Mechanicum.
Mm-hmm.
One of my
favorites.
I think it's my favorite Horus Heresy novel. It's either that or Betrayer. I don't know which one. They're both really great. But I'm a big AdMech fan, and CJ's also a big AdMech fan. So's Richard and Ed. For us,
we're going to try to make
AdMech
great again.
We're going to make AdMech great again.
But...
They were, because do you remember the War Convocation?
War Convocation.
War Convocation at the end of 7th was crazy good. We are going to make AdMech great again. I hope the Trap Approved points costs help us, too.
And some of those new specialist attachments, which we didn't talk about in a normal episode, but we should review those maybe in another episode.
We'll chat. We'll know more next week for our episode then, so we can talk about them then.
You'll be able to build a Cybernetica cohort army, which will be pretty cool.
And Servitor Maniple, should be pretty good. We're to kind of call that one there for this, guys.
More Road to Adepticon.
Sort of just, more or less letting you know that Road to Adepticon is back, and we're going to be stacking them high. All right. Thanks for watching, guys.
Good night.
Take care.